for these two schools. We'll see what they're going to go with next, and it is going to be Shaman once again for Arizona State, and Washington State is going to throw out the Druid.
So this is a really important matchup, and this is like, I guess like, it's a question that I've heard about in Conquest for quite a bit, where, you know, you ask like, why do you even bring Druid? You know that every deck is carrying Druid. You know, why not just save that for last? It's like, it's because ultimately it doesn't matter, right? If eventually if you want to win, you're still gonna have to win with Druid. It doesn't really increase your chances of winning by playing your weakest deck last instead of first. You know, if you get through with all your other decks and you have Druid, you get 3-0'd, it's still the same as if you got your Druid, like you just get 3-0'd from the start as Druid, kind of. It's like, because if you, it allows you to, it's predictable if you always open with your strongest class, because then they can target, you know, you better anyways, and then you still have to get through. So, yeah, this is, I'd say, a bad matchup for Druid, but very good opening. Living Roots against Shaman, like mid-range Shaman is classically based on totems a lot, where a lot of the turns are filled up with hero power and then using cards like Flame Tongue Totem to snowball the hero power. So it's really important to develop something like this or a Zombie Chow really to stomp the totems. Perfect top deck though, stops the Living Roots straight in their tracks.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Shaman's considered strong against Druid, is because they can trade up their small, you know, normally not so useful stuff like totems and spectral spiders from Mana Creepers, Zombie Chows, into bigger threats from Druid. So they could spend their mana playing a threat and trading up, whereas the Druid just plays, you know, usually one mid-sized threat a turn.
And then you still have to deal with say the Flame Tongue Totem after the trade. So Druid Claw is one of the best ways to deal with it. You can charge it down with not taking any damage in Druid Claw. But other than that, especially if they're able to protect their Flame Tongue Totem, you see a lot of games ending, not ending as in someone has lethal, but ending as in Druid's never going to make a comeback, just because, you know, Flame Tongue trades up against your big minion with some creepers and totems, and then it's protected by a Feral Spirits or a Taunt Totem, and at that point you're, you know, if you don't have the Wrath to deal with it or a Keeper, maybe you're just stuck dropping more, like dropping Ancient of Lore, and then you just, you know you're just going to lose to that Flame Tongue over multiple turns.
Yeah, because Washington State does pick up a big game hunter, but it seemed like their game plan after last turn was to wait until turn 5 to innervate out this Ancient of Lore. They opted not to innervate out the Keeper to deal with the Hunter Creeper right away, so definitely not going to be playing that and giving Arizona State the initiative going into this next turn. A free Mana Tide Totem. Might have to use Keeper now.
Yeah, Keeper is not actually that good this matchup, as, like, even though it seems like it would be good, it's not an important card to keep in your hand against Shaman. What's like 10 times more important is actually getting board control. So, like Keeper, if you want to assign, say, Flame Tongue Totem, it doesn't answer Flame Tongue, but it's much better to play proactively and just be ahead on board to begin with, because then you never give them a chance to play Flame Tongue. So, I definitely like just Keepering here, try to get some board control. It's also a great answer against this Mana Tide Totem.
Washington State with a couple options, but it looks like their plan is going to be to innervate out the Ancient of Lore. But, you know, Druid Claw is still an option if they want to hold on to that innervate. Maybe use it for a future turn, but it seems...
It's interesting, yeah. Druid Claw is technically a stronger minion here than the 5/5. The 4/6 with Taunt is the stronger minion, and you can save your innervate for later. The problem is you don't get the cycle for those two cards. The big reason, though, for Druid Claw here is it protects your Keeper from the 4/3, whereas if you play 5/5, you're effectively, you know, losing your Keeper to the Shredder. The bad thing about it is Druid Claw is also a better card later, since it gives you a charge option against Flame Tongue Totem. And also it's pretty important to cycle into some of your other cards. It gives you more options for later turns.
Yeah. Well, they're having over the innervate. Ancient of Lore.
Looking
really
at this turn,
that cycle quickly.
I might have preferred the Druid Claw here. The big reason, because you have, it protects your guy, your 2/4, and also you have a 6-drop anyways. It doesn't feel that great to use Force Nature without Savage Roar, but it's not bad, especially since this is not a matchup where you have to win through burn damage with combo. You can win this matchup very easily through taking over the board. Shaman's another class where if they fall behind on board and they have to drop minions into you, you're probably going to win. So it's like this matchup is like whoever wins the board generally wins the game.
Yeah, sort of similar to the mirror matchup for Druid, because a lot of times outside of, you know, hard removal from Shamans, they don't have a way to come back on the board from a state when they've lost it entirely.
Maybe even more so, because in the mirror, if they get enough damage early, they can probably combo you down.
Yeah.
Whereas Shaman can't really do that as easily.
I don't know. I saw Bloodlust.
Yeah, Bloodlust you need board.
Yeah.
You can't Bloodlust with no
Yeah.
board. So definitely even more so against the Bloodlust Shaman.
Shamans need a 5-mana spell that summons 3 totems with charge.
Yeah.
There you go. Boom.
That would be perfect.
Balanced. No? Okay. Really valuing... Oh, looks like... Okay, yeah, I was going to say. Trading up seems like the right option. Ouch! Novice Engineer from the Piloted Shredder. That's one of the worst.
Yeah. I truly like seeing greedy trades in this matchup, actually, instead of going for the obvious trade there. I would have liked to see, instead of trading the 5-4 for the 5-5, trading the 5-4 for the Keeper for free in a way. So... Yeah. It is kind of scary. There's things potentially like a Keeper, but there's one Keeper already used. You're kind of scared of Science after that. It's not even that bad anyways, and I feel like it's definitely a matchup where you want to go for greedy trades. This is very board focus of greedy trades. Greedy trades usually pay off over multiple turns.
Yeah. Fire Elemental seems like an automatic play here. Lines up really nicely into the Druid Claw, and Fire Elemental can be a really tough card for Druids to deal with. They don't have the Wrath, and it's hard for them to trade up because a lot of times they deal damage in those 4. A lot of their powerful creatures have that 4 attack, and
yeah, my Yoda senses are telling me that this game is gonna come down to a spell power swipe, because it's actually getting more and more likely. There's no swipe drawn yet. Still an Azure Drake going to turn 9, and
you're sensing it.
I'm sensing it. It's a really big thing in this matchup actually, because pushing your swipe damage to 2 AoE kills all totems.
Yeah.
And it's a really big breakpoint, the spell power swipe.
Gets rid of Bloodlust as a potential card. And another interesting choice here from Arizona State, they actually have an Emperor Thorsan in this deck. So it's not a card that you see all the time in Shaman, because a lot of times, you know, they don't benefit that much from it because they don't have combos. But they do have a lot of mid-range creatures. Bloodlust also benefits a lot from being reduced, but not nearly as much as, say, Patron Warrior or Druid or Freeze Mage. Cards that use combos with it, you know?
Yeah. He did decide to save the Azure Drake. Washington State saved Azure Drake here. It's kind of weird. Maybe they're saving it for spell power swipe. I don't know. But that taunt there with the 4-6, it almost does nothing compared to a 4-4 against Fire Elemental. Yeah. Since the 2 extra health doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to use that 2 mana to hero power it down. Innervates are... Azure Drake Innervate Swipe is an option if they draw into it, but it's floating a mana. You're only taking out 2 creatures, so maybe not the best.
There actually is combo potential already, but Arizona State's at 26. You can combo and clear here.
That basically resets the board if you do that, because you also have to spend the extra mana to use the hero power. So going into next turn, Arizona State's going to have a big opportunity, especially with reduction in the cost of their cards, to really, you know, get a head start on that, you know, the reset board. Yeah.
Another free turn for Arizona State to develop 2 minions. Probably going to be Drake and Harrison Jones. You're never going to get value from Harrison Jones against Druid, so if you have a free turn, might as well play it. Although this is not a free turn anymore. You just play Shredder instead.
Yeah.
Stronger minion.
You could play Harrison Jones and Shredder. Save the Azure Drake for a Lightning Storm to get the guaranteed damage.
It's actually a stronger board to have Harrison Jones because it's a 5-4 instead of 4-4. And since you're not getting spell power anyways, and you can combo the Azure Drake with the Lightning Storms, I like this a lot better.
Or Azure Drake double Lightning Storm, which is a really powerful play. It's basically a full board clear.
Yeah.
It's a lot of overload, but I mean, you're developing such like a strong board. Well, you're clearing their board and protecting a strong board that you probably would already have. So now it's an option.
So here, with the Innervate, Druid has 11 mana. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Yeah, he could. I think you go for Ancient Allure. Even if you get a swipe, you can Innervate out the swipe. The spell power is not that useful right now anyways.
Yeah. Still haven't seen a swipe yet, so...
Yeah. If he had 12 mana here, he could go for Azure Drake first and then Innervate out the Allure if he doesn't get a swipe. But yeah, okay, so this is good. You can just play a Shredder here, then play Spell Power Swipe next turn. Oh, he's swiping. I don't know. I feel like you're playing too safe here. I'd like saving the spell power, so I'm just playing a Shredder here. You got 22 life. You can definitely use your life as somewhat of a resource.
Yeah.
And get the spell-powered one. Also, Shredder's kind of a slow card to develop early.
Yeah. With Earthshock drawn, Hex feels like this is a great target because they have Earthshock if something like an Agent of War comes down, which could be, you know, a little bit better of a way to deal with that. There's not that many bigger Hex targets, so.
Yeah. Ultimately, you're looking to...
They get Lightning Storm.
Oh, man.
That's risky.
That's potentially 5 damage. I think basically Hex here is fine because you're mostly looking to get board control. Even if Ancient War comes down, if you have board control, you can ultimately play Flame Tongue Totem and still trade up into it pretty efficiently.
Is second swipe going to come out here? Can they get the spell power swipe?
Yeah, I feel like that swipe would be pretty useful to have about now.
It wouldn't really have impacted the board too much if they had left the Harrison Jones up.
Because you also had a Shredder, so
if
you count both, then it's not that bad.
That's not a swipe.
You also could have comboed to clear this turn, but...
That would be both Force of Nature is gone in that case. So that's a big win condition that'd be thrown out the window.
Could definitely have won a value game if we see the hand. Especially if you know that Arizona State's drawing a Bloodlust. That's kind of a dead card once you get board control and clear. So you might have been able to just go for combo and clear all the threats, and then just, if your hand is like this,
Whoa!
That's lethal, I think.
That's 10 damage from the 2 creatures on board, plus 12. Yep. That's 22 damage. Even have a BM Earthshock if they so choose.
Yeah. You can even BM Earthshock your own Alakir after the first attack. No. After.
Wait, no.
You can't do after the first attack.
Yeah.
You have to. You can Earthshock some of your own minions though.
Yeah. You have a lot of spell power, so you got to be really careful there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you place a Flame Tongue Totem first.
Wow, you might not see it because if you play it first, you have 12 damage on board. Because this is 8 plus 4 is 12, and then you play your Alakir after, where next to a Flame Tongue after you attack with both minions next to it, and then Alakir will have 10 damage. Yeah. So that's exact lethal. He doesn't see it though, I think.
I think they're just making sure, double counting. They have 2 people. 2 brains is better than 1, and they have found it. Maybe they're just deciding where to throw that Earthshock. And that looks like it. It looks like Arizona State is going to take a 2-1 lead in the series, finding a win with Shaman. Granted, it is one of the best matchups, so they lined it up nicely. I guess expecting a lot of Druid.
Yeah, super important matchup for Arizona State to win. We were talking about this before.
Yeah.
It comes down to whether, because their strategy is a target the Druid strategy, comes down to how well they are able to target the Druid. So far, pretty well.